Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we have the ripsaw tank, and it's time to start the mods and upgrades. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you what you're going to need for all this. You're going to need your tire glue, conformal coating. This is a sticky glue like goop glue or shoe glue. A decent pair of scissors, a cutting board, a good razor, Phillips head screwdriver. You can use airplane weights or whatever you want, but I'm just using this chunk of lead I have laying around. This is a gasket out of a 5-gallon bucket, piece of rubber hose, square channel, anything will work as long as it's, whatever size rubber you want to run with. And that should get us going. Well, I've already taken loose the 8 screws on the bottom and disconnected the wire for the lights. And it's a good thing I did open this up because you can see on the inside there are these little pins that hold that front axle in. The pin was missing on this one, so I had to put a new one of those in there. Well, let me get some stuff slid out of the way and we'll get started with the first mod. Now, the first mod we're going to do is waterproofing the board. And you can see inside here you have 2 screws for the board and 2 screws for the on and off switch. So we'll take those loose. And I usually have a nice magnetic tray handy that I throw everything in. Oops. I want to get the boards loose so we can do both sides of them. If you're familiar with this channel, I play in the water a lot, so it's pretty common sense for me to waterproof everything I own. I just can't stay out of it. Even if I don't plan on going in it, I roll in it on accident anyway, so might as well be prepared. Alright, you got your on and off switch. We're going to unplug these 2. And our connector should slide right through there. Oh, here's your board. Your on and off switch. Let me get the conformal coating ready and we'll pick back. This is what I use to do all my waterproofing. This is the silicone modified conformal coating. You can find this on eBay, Amazon, just about anywhere. And this stuff is thick and goopy. And it is non-conductive. And it seals really good, so you're just going to start slathering it on there. And 1 coat's probably sufficient, but I always put 2 coats on anyway. It doesn't take that much longer, and why not have the extra safety? What you're going to want to do is just coat absolutely everything but your connectors. You are not going to want to coat down inside there, obviously, because then you won't be able to plug your wires back in and have any conductivity. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off and finish coating this on both sides. Then I'll hang it up on my helping hands and let it dry. And I'll give it a second coat later. Oh, we have that in the background drying. And if this gives you any comfort, so far I've never had any of my waterproofing fail with that conformal coating. I know Steve Shin over at Shin RC. He does some really nice mods too, and he uses Corrosion X. I'll leave a link over to his channel in the description so you can see the stuff he's done. He's really knowledgeable, does a lot of really great mods on all of his RCs. Oh, the other thing I'm going to do is, with this, it really, all the weight's in the back. You can see the motor, everything's back here, both those motors. When it goes, it really stands up, which when you're trying to climb a hill causes you to flip over a lot, and you're not getting any good weight on the front. So, same thing with your crawling. What I have is this chunk of lead, and you got this awesome channel that it can sit in right there. And you can use sticky back weights for wheels on like your car tires, or you can use the airplane weights, piece of brass, whatever you got laying around to work. It doesn't have to be anything pretty. Nobody's ever going to see it sitting down in there. What I'm doing is using this goopy glue I put a nice layer down. And then just drop it right in there. Push it around, let it settle. And that should dry up nicely, and then we're going to have some nice front weight. Then we'll move on to the next mod now, the track mods. So now we're going to move on to the tank treads. What I chose to do, now you can use anything. What I'm using is this is a seal out of a 5-gallon bucket lid. You can use a piece of rubber hose. You can even use old RC tires you have laying around that you're not going to do anything else with. You can cut them up into sections. And you can also use this technique to make your own paddle tires on your vehicles. So what I did is I just measured how far I wanted it to be for that pad, which I've got it pre-measured here. I think it works out to be right around 3/4 of an inch. I'll cut a piece off of that. Now with these really decent scissors, just pop them right in half. So I've already got a pile pre-cut. And then they sit on there pretty nice. What we want to do is take our tire glue. And you've worked with tire glue, you know it's super runny and sticky. I'm going to start right here. Of course, it's never a good project unless you glue your finger to it a couple times. I'm going to let that set up and move on and do the rest of them. And I'll get back with you on how the results turned out. Okay, everything is back in place. I have put these pieces on. Hopefully they'll hold up. I think they look pretty awesome on there. I've also put an XT60 connector on there and had to give it some of my own personality. So now it has a crew of clone troopers, and this is now a ripsaw droid hunting tank. I always pick up stuff when I'm out at sales, and I had this bag of broken clone troopers and droids I'd picked up and looking for something to do with. I put these guys together and threw them in there, so now it's got some personality. Then the only thing now is get it out and test it. So stay tuned for that. We'll get it out and see if these end up staying on. The only issue was there is not, I went every two, there's not an even amount of tread pads on here. So when you get to a certain point where you're closing the gap, you can either leave an extra one exposed or put an extra one in and have a smaller gap. And this was the same on both sides. And honestly, if I hadn't pointed it out, nobody probably even noticed. But let's get this thing out and give it a rip. Alright, a little gloomy out here, but this is the best break in the weather I've had, so let's get this thing tested. So far, I like it. It's digging in good. Yeah, those tank treads are working great. Those are staying down a little bit better too. think that's a pretty good test. Let's have a look at it. It looks like all the tank tread pads I glued on are staying on too, so excellent. Well, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more. I'll get a full run video going in on this thing. I'll get it out and hit the trails and have some real fun. But until then, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.